What's going on, everyone? TM24 Plays here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to take a deep dive into a Galactus deck that I was piloting over the course of 100 games and see how it did. Before we kind of go over what we got there, please remember to subscribe and like the video if you like it. It really does help me out, and I appreciate all the support we've been getting. It's been amazing, but let's kind of take a look at this deck and see how it did. I do have some gameplay going on in the background just so you guys can kind of see some of the outcomes of these games and see some of the play lines that we went over, and I'll go over a couple if we've got some time here. So starting right off, we played 100 games with this Galactus deck, and we ended up winning 63 of them. So pretty good record, 63% win rate, netting us 143 total cubes over those 100 games. So that comes out to 1.43 cubes per game. So whether you win or you lose, the average amount of cubes that you were going to see was 1.43, and I feel like that's amazing. It really does kind of show the power of this deck, but really where you kind of see it is the cubes gained. So over those 63 wins, we actually gained 229 cubes, which comes out to 3.63 cubes per win. So that's a crazy high number. You're getting almost 4 cubes per win here, and that feels really strong. It's nice to win more than you lose, which is exactly what happens with this deck. And not only that, when you win more cubes than cubes that you lose when you lose. So over the 36 games that we lost, we only lost 86 cubes, netting us 2.39 cubes per loss. So a really nice disparity there. We see, a lot more cubes coming in when we lose than cubes going out when we lost. Now, since this was built around Galactus, I wanted to see how he affected the game. And out of the 100 games that we played, we managed to play Galactus in 44 of them. So he only came out 44% of the time, which isn't too much. I honestly thought it was going to be more than that, simply because we have so many tools to get him out. We've got Electro, we've got Wave, we've got Magic. We have, essentially time and tools to make sure we can get Galactus down. But still, he didn't even come out 50% of the time, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Now, when he did come out, in those 44 games, our win rate skyrocketed to 77% when we played Galactus, which was huge. And that was kind of instrumental to why we were able to gain so many cubes. We get Galactus down, we see that we're winning most of the games that we actually play him, so we snap, and we're gonna bring in more cubes that way. So when Galactus came down, we get a 77% win rate. That's a 14% boost just off the normal deck, which is just insane. Now, because we didn't get to play Galactus even 50% of the time, we did have to take a look at how our win rate was affected when he wasn't played. And out of the 56 games that we did not play with Galactus, we still won 29 of them, which comes out to right around a 52% win rate if you're rounding up. And that just shows that this deck has tools to win these games even without hitting Galactus. It's got Destroyer, it's got Death, it's got Magic to extend games, the Goblins to give them negative power. So a 52% win rate isn't too bad, but that's when you didn't hit the big boy Galactus. And a 63% win rate overall is kind of insane. So I just think this deck performed really well. It obviously got better the longer that we went. The first 25 games or so, we did struggle a little bit, just kind of figuring out the games. But once we did, and we saw the different patterns of play that we could take, our wins started skyrocketing. The amount of cubes we were winning went up insane. So I think it's a really, really strong deck. But now let's just kind of go over a couple of the games that we got going on here, into some of the decision making, what we were thinking, and you'll kind of see some of these outcomes. So in this one here, we see that we've got Magic, so we know that we can extend this game. That's always nice to feel. It means we've got a shot at getting Galactus down. We see a Sentinel come out, and we're thinking, okay, maybe it's like a Moon Dino deck, something like that. A Devil Dino, Moon Girl. And that's what we're thinking is probably going on here. So we're going to try and knock off a couple lanes. And Goblin he's really nice to play down on 3. Because that's a lane then that you're going to look to attack once you have Galactus. You can put, Green Goblin there. You can put the Hobgoblin there. And you've just got a lane that they have negative power in. And you drop Galactus. If you end up with that extra turn afterwards, you feel really good about your game. You're going to snap on those ones 99% of the time. Here, I was hoping that the hood was going to get sniped. So when armor came down, I wasn't too excited about that. I continue to see him playing Sentinels, and I'm just waiting for this massive Devil Dino. Now, I know that I'm going to need more time. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to play like a Galactus on 7 at this point. Because we have Chavez and we're in our deck, we know that we're not going to be able to play Galactus until 7, because turn 6 we're going to draw Chavez. So my thought was, let's extend the game. Maybe if I can put Hobgoblin onto Shuri's lab, then I can play Galactus safely on 7 and get the win that way. So that was kind of the route I was thinking. I did not expect them to play a Magic as well, but ultimately it didn't really matter just because we were both playing. It was already going to be extended. So the fact that it came down from them as well didn't make too much of a difference. There's the Chavez that we picked up, and we're going to go with the plan that we had was get Hobgoblin down on the Shuri's lab. My thought was if we don't hit Galactus, we need some power somewhere. So I tried to go for the far left Limbo lane because I was thinking maybe I need to Destroyer that lane next turn. And I need some additional power there. I probably could have played it into the middle lane, but then I didn't know what I would follow up with. So I was kind of left not 100% sure where to put Demon and what I would do if I didn't hit Galactus on 7. So Hawkeye comes out, as does another Sentinel, and I'm still thinking to myself, okay, this Dino's got to come down at some point. At this point, I know that I've won Shuri's lab, -19. That would be super tough for him to come back from. So I'm like, I think I can leave that lane open. I'm like, he's going to be up 5 in Limbo, but there's armor there. There's nothing I could combat that Dino. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe I just go, Shang-Chi and Wave in that middle lane. See if I can snipe his whatever big thing he plays and get the win that way. Unfortunately for me, when I saw all 3 coming down, I knew I was in trouble. And then once that first Cerero hit, my only hope was that they were going to be buffed high enough that my Shang-Chi could still take them out. Unfortunately, they weren't. So he's going to end up taking this win. But as you can see, we had a shot. If he played something large in that middle Limbo lane, we totally could have taken it. That one just didn't work out in our favor. Now we get into this next one, and we see we've got Electro, we've got Destroyer, we've got Magic, we've got Galactus. I'm like, we have all the tools that we need to win this game. It should be fairly straightforward. Electro on 3, but we're not 100% yet, so we want to see what he's playing to see if we can determine which lane we're going to try and Galactus. We see Onslaught Citadel come down, and we are a little bit afraid of that simply because we know that, it can make games crazy. So we think we'll probably stay away from that one for our Galactus. Now, seeing that location come up, it really frustrated me because I had the perfect hand. So I'm like, great, now I lose Galactus. Now I'm going to have to figure out a new plan once this turn ends. But, he was the only... Electro was the only play that I could make. So I made it. I saw Sauron come out, and I'm like, okay, he's probably got Red Skull. He's probably got Typhoid Mary. I get a little bit nervous. I'm like, I'm not sure where to go. Electro is still out, which is tough because it limits me now to 1 card per turn. So I think to myself, I'm going to have to go after that lizard lane. So I drop my green goblin there. He plays a sunspot, and immediately I'm a little bit worried just because I don't want to have to mess with the sunspot. I don't have any way to take it out other than Shang-Chi if it gets large enough. So I'm just not sure. I get to this turn 6, and my best option, I think, is just Destroyer to take out Electro. I'm like, maybe I can play 2 cards on turn 7. 2 cards on turn 6, but I don't even have 2 cards that work well together. So seeing his Shuri, I'm like, I've got to play Chavez. They're probably going to play in the center lane because that has less power. So I'm like, I will stay away from there. I'll play Chavez on the right, and we'll see if we get the win, and we do. We win this game without Galactus. It feels really nice. We read it well, and we got the job done. So we roll into the next game here, and we get our opening hand, and we feel pretty good. We've got ramp, we can extend, we see Bar Sinister, and we're just like, okay, maybe we can make use of that. Elysium comes out, and we can play Electro, and we see Galactus, and we're like, okay, we're going to slam that snap. We're going to play Electron to Bar Sinister. That's going to give us 4 extra power on turn 3, giving us 7 power on turn 3. So we're like, yeah, definitely. We're going to slam Galactus next turn. So Electro's going to come out. He's going to give us all that extra energy. And we know we're going to play Galactus. It just depends on what he has on where we're going to play it. So we're just waiting for his cards to unveil. And when they do, I see Lockjaw and Wasp. I'm like, okay, it's a Lockjaw deck. Maybe it'll pull something, not so good. It pulls Dracula, which can be a little bit scary. So that tells me that I need to go ahead and Galactus into the middle lane. We're going to get rid of those. We're going to get rid of our Electros. We can play multiple cards now. We just picked up Destroyer, and we have Death and Magic. We have a ton of tools to make this game work. So we feel like we're in a really strong spot. He did play onto the same lane as us, so that's just a little bit scary because he's already going to have power down. Now, it's only turn 3, so it couldn't be that much, but then he pulls out Jubilee, and it pulls a Yondu, which gets rid of my Shang-Chi. Again, a little bit frustrating just because we know how strong Shang-Chi can be, but we still have tools. Now, what I found is it's super important to go last in these Galactus games because you don't want to get Shang-Chi. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to play Shuri. My Destroyer is 5. My Death is 1. As long as he doesn't lock us out on turn 5, then turn 6, we're going to drop a ton of power. So that's my plan. I pass. I know I've got Shuri already loaded. He drops an Infinite. I'm like, okay, 23 power. That's a lot. I wish I had that Shang-Chi. We don't. But still, we're dropping 30, we're dropping 42, we're hoping it's enough. We see his Magneto come down, 12 power, we're dropping 42, not even close, and we're going to get the dub. So that feels really nice, good win there. But that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it and would like to see more, please remember to subscribe and like it. Until next time, let's have some fun.